Hello. I would first like to make an announcement that this live stream is not going to be the usual live stream. All we're going to be doing is reading some Harry Potter. So if you did expect some Animal Jam play or some Mice Force or some Kahoot or some other kind of thing that that I usually do, then this live stream may not be for you. This is just me reading some Harry Potter. I'm not going to share my screen because there is no need when I am just reading. So, oh wow, whoa, we already had a watcher. Whoa, hello. So let's get to that. Let's get to reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is the third Harry Potter book. So, yeah. There's 22 chapters in this book, but we will not be reading all of the book because that is a lot of chapters. I could be here for probably 3 hours straight of just reading, and I don't want to bore you guys to death. So, we're not going to do that. We're going to read, well, let's see, well, half of 22 is 11. So we could read 11 chapters, but that's still a lot of chapters. I'm also mostly just making this for a video on my channel. So yeah, not much as a live stream. I can't record for like hours. If I could, I wouldn't be really live streaming right now. I just would like you to know that. Okay, we're going to read till chapter 5 maybe, and if I actually get into the book more, I will read more of chapter 5. I mean more of the book in general. So thank you so much for liking the stream. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Owl Post. Harry Potter was highly usual. I'm sorry for my reading. Harry Potter was a highly unusual boy in many ways. For one thing, he hated the summer holidays more than any other time of the year. For another, he really wanted to do his homework, but he was forced to do it in secret in the dead of night. And he and he also happened to be a wizard. I'm so sorry. It was nearly midnight, and he was lying on his stomach in bed, the blankets drawn right over his head like a tent, a flashlight in one hand, and a large leather bound book, a history of magic book. Okay, propped open against the pillow. Harry moved the tip of the eagle feather quill down the page, frowning as he looked for something that would help him write his essay. Witch burning in the 14th century was completely pointless. Discuss. The quill paused. The quill paused at the top of a likely-looking paragraph. Harry pushed his round glasses up the bridge of his nose, moved his flashlight closer to the book, and read. Non-magic people, more commonly known as muggles, were particularly afraid of magic in the medieval times, but not very good at recognizing it. On the rare occasion they did catch a real witch or wizard, burning had no effect whatsoever. The witch or wizard would perform a basic flame freezing charm, and then pretend to shriek with pain while enjoying a gentle tickling sensation. Indeed, Wender the Weird enjoyed being burned so much that she allowed herself to be caught no less than 40 times in various distinguishes. So I will stop reading for a second. So this one wizard literally just follows. This one witch followed wizards and witches around. Just she could be burned. Really self-torture. Let's just go burn yourself in a fire. I don't know what scary was. His quill between his teeth, his pillow, the ink bottle, and a roll of parchment. The ink bottle dipped his quill into it and began to write, pausing every now and then because if any of the Dursleys heard the scratching of his quill on their way to the bathroom, he'd probably find himself locked up in the cupboard under the stairs for the rest of the summer. Sorry if you can hear the book crinkling. That's just the cover on it. Let me take that off. Yeah, so that's great. Sorry for the crinkling. I'm sorry. I'll put my book further back and I'll put my face more towards the speaker. So let's continue. Although I kind of need this in the light. I'm in a little fort right now. Okay. The Dursleys family on number 4 Pivot Drive was the reason that Harry never enjoyed his summer holidays. Uncle Vernon, Aunt Petunia, and their son, Dudley, were Harry's only living relatives. They were muggles, and they had a very medical attitude. And they had a very medieval attitude toward magic. Medical attitude. I'm sorry, guys. That's just my allergies. I'm not crying. Don't worry. I don't think I failed that badly. I hope I didn't fail that badly. Okay. Oh gosh. I'm trying to get in a comfy position. I built this fort yesterday, but that's going off topic. So, wait, no, I built this fort 2 days ago. Okay, we're gonna get back to it now. Sorry. Okay. I don't remember where I was. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go. Harry's dress. I can't read. Okay, I'm not used to reading out loud, so this is different for me. I usually just read in my head, and that's how I just finished the second book 7 minutes ago, before I started live streaming, so sorry. Calm. Peacefulness. I was going to do this on my Harry Potter channel, because that just makes more sense. I've already had one, but I need to wait 24 hours till I can live stream on that channel, so whippy-do. Whippy, I was going to combine that word with kaye and do, so whatever. Let's continue, I'm sorry. Harry's dead parents, who had been a witch and a wizard themselves, were never mentioned under the Dursleys' roof. For years, Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon had hoped that if they kept Harry as downtrodden as possible, they would be able to squash the magic out of him. To their fury, they had been unsuccessful these days. They lived in terror of anyone finding out that Harry had spent most of the last 2 years at Hogwarts of School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The most they could do, however, was to lock away Harry's spellbooks, wand, cauldron, and broomsticks at the start of summer break, and forbid him to talk to the neighbors. So he is locked in his room all day long, practically, and he can't talk to anybody. So that's his life. Yay. The separation from his spellbooks had been a real problem for Harry, because his teachers at Hogwarts had given him a lot of holiday work. So they have to do work over the summer. Unlike me, I'm so happy that I'm in middle school and I don't have to do that. Although this year they're in the 3rd year, so I would technically be in 8th grade. But they still wouldn't get work over the summer. You need to enjoy something in life, right? Okay. So the separation of spellbooks had been a real problem for Harry, because his teachers at Hogwarts had given him a lot of holiday work. One of the essays, a particularly nasty one about shrinking potions, was for Harry's least favorite teacher. I'll give you a second, even though there's nobody watching right now, to guess the teacher that's his least favorite. I want some Harry Potter fans. We need some Harry Potter fans. Where are my Harry Potter fans? Come on, Harry Potter fans. I need you. I need you right now. I need you. I need you. I need you right now. I need you right now. Seriously, I have a Harry Potter fan that's not online right now. It'd be kind of helpful if she was. She could help me out. Tier. Particular nasty one about sorry, was for Harry's least favorite teacher, Professor Snape, who would be delighted to have an excuse to give Harry detention for a month. So Harry could get a detention for a month because he can't do his work with the Dursleys. I think that the Dursleys and Snape would like go perfect together right now. Like, they both hate Potter. Like, yeah, it's all terrible. So, yeah. Who would be delighted to have an excuse to give Harry detention for a month. Harry had therefore seized his chance in the first week of the holidays, while Uncle Vernon, Aunt Petunia, and Dudley had gone out the garden front to admire Uncle Vernon's new company car and in very loud noises so that the rest of the street would notice too. Harry had crept downstairs, picked the lock on the cupboard under the stairs, grabbed some of the books, and hid it in his bedroom. And hid them in his bedroom. So he hid the books in his bedroom so he could do work. As long as he didn't leave spots of ink on the sheets, the Dursleys need never know that he was studying magic by night. Harry was particularly keen to avoid trouble with his aunt and uncle at the moment, as they were already in an especially bad mood with him, because all he'd received was a telephone call from a fellow wizard 1 week into school vacation. Ron Weasley, who was one of Harry's best friends at Hogwarts, came from a whole family of wizards. This meant that he knew a lot of things Harry didn't, but he had never used a telephone before. Most unluckily, it had been Uncle Vernon who had answered the call. Vernon Dursley speaking. Harry, who happened to be in the room at the time, froze as he heard Ron's voice answer. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? I want to talk to Harry Potter. Ron was yelling so loudly that Uncle Vernon jumped and held the receiver a foot away from his ear, staring at it with an expression of mingled fury and alarm. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the stream. We're just reading some casual Harry Potter, so if you're a Harry Potter fan, you might want to punch that like button. Ron was yelling so loud. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Who is this? He roared in the direction of the mouthpiece. Who are you? Ron Weasley, Ron bellowed back, as though he and Uncle Vernon were speaking from opposite ends of a football field. I'm a friend of Harry's from school! Uncle Vernon's small eyes swiveled around to Harry, who was rooted into the spot. There is no Harry Potter here, he roared, now holding the receiver at arm's length, as though frightened it might explode. I don't know what school you're talking about. Never contact me ever again. Don't you come near my family. So, angerish, guys. At arm's length, as though frightened it might explode. I just wanted to kind of check on what my live stream sounded like for a second. So, contacting me. And he threw the receiver back into the telephone as if dropping a poisonous spider. Wow. The fight that had followed that had been one of the worst days ever. How dare you give this number to people like you? Uncle Vernon had roared, spraying spit all over Harry. Ron obviously realized that he'd gotten Harry into trouble because he hadn't called again. Harry's other best friend from Hogwarts, Hermione Granger, hadn't been in touch either. Harry suspected that Ron warned Hermione not to call, which was a pity, because Hermione was the cleverest witch in Harry's year. Had Muggle parents, knew perfectly well how to use a telephone, and would probably had enough sense to say that way, and would probably had enough sense not to say that she went to Hogwarts. So Harry had no word from any of his wizarding friends for 5 long weeks, and this summer was turning out to be almost as bad as the last one. There was just one very small improvement. After swearing that he'd use her to send letters and all of his friends, Harry had been wait. I'm trying to move my chips out of the way. Sorry, guys. So, after swearing that he wouldn't use her to send letters to any of his friends, Harry had been allowed to let his owl, Hedwig, out at night. So he could send letters to his friends at nighttime only. So he couldn't send them during the day. Day, off limits. Night, perfectly fine. So, sorry, I lost my spot. I need to stop getting distracted. Very sorry, very sorry. Uncle Vernon had given in because of the racket Hedwig made if she was locked in her cage all the time. Harry finished writing about Wedland the Weird and paused to listen again. The silence of the dark house was broken only by the distant grunting noise and snores of his enormous cousin Dudley. It must be very late, thought Harry. His eyes were twitching with tiredness. Perhaps if he finished this essay tomorrow night. He replaced the top of the ink bottle, pulled an old pillowcase from under his bed, put the flashlight, a history of magic, his essay, quill, and ink inside of it, got out of bed, and hid the lot under a loose floorboard under his bed. Then he stood up, stretched, and checked the time on the luminous alarm clock on his bedside. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. Harry's stomach gave a funny jolt. He had been 13 without realizing it for a whole hour. His birthday turned. Okay. Yet another unusual thing about Harry was so little that he looked forward to his birthdays. He had never received a birthday card in his life. So he had never had a birthday card in his life. But that reminds me of the first year when he got like this huge cake from Hagrid. But still, it's not a card, it's just a cake. So I make it sound so sad. Just a cake. Cakes are awesome, guys. Well, you might actually not want to eat your cake. Yeah, if you don't like cake. Okay. The Dursleys had completely ignored his last 2 birthdays, and he had no reason to suppose they would remember this one. Harry walked across the dark room, past Hedwig's large, empty cage to the open window. He leaned on the sill. The cool night air pleasant on his face after a long time under the blankets. Hedwig had been absent for 2 nights in a row. Harry wasn't worried about. Sorry, I'm trying to get this blanket together. I'm being cold. Harry wasn't worried about her. She'd been gone this long before, but he hoped she'd be back soon. She was the only living creature in the house who didn't flinch at the sight of him. Oh, that's so sad. That's so terrible, guys. Harry, though still rather small and skinny for his age, well, because they're like starving him, gonna make him die very badly. I feel very bad for Harry. Just kidding, Harry doesn't die. There's literally like, I don't know how many more books. I think there's like, I don't know. Okay, well, there's this 3rd book, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So there's 5 more books after this book, because there's 8 books, and I'm on the 3rd one. I could have just done that simple math in my head, but it's Easter weekend thingy for me, so waha. I think we're actually just gonna stop at chapter 2 because I didn't notice how long chapter 1 is and how long it's taking me. So once I finish chapter 2, which is a lot of pages away, we can move on to changing what the stream is called and do some animal jams, some actual things that you guys are used to, you know? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Okay, go. So, oh my god, I lost my spot again. I am so sorry. Actually, I'm just going to finish the first chapter. Then I'll play some Animal Jam. We'll do what you like. The Dursleys had completely ignored his last 2 birthdays, and they had no reason to suppose they would remember this one. Harry walked across the dark room, past Hedwig's large empty cage, to the open window. He leaned on the sill, the cool night air pleasant to his face after a long time under the blankets. Hedwig had been absent for 2 nights now. Harry wasn't worried about her. She'd been gone this long before, but he hoped she'd be back soon. She was the only living creature in this house who didn't flinch at the sight of him. Harry, though still rather small and skinny for his age, had grown a few inches over the last year. His jet black hair, however, was just as it always had been, stubbornly untidy whatever he did to it. His eyes behind the glass were bright green, and on his forehead, clearly visible through his hair, was a thin scar shaped like a bolt of lightning. All of the unusual things about Harry, this scar was the most extraordinary of them all. It was not, as the Dursleys had pretended for 10 years, a souvenir of the car crash that killed Harry's parents, because Lily and James Potter had not died in the car crash. They had been murdered. Murdered by one of the most feared dark wizards for 100 years, Lord Voldemort. Harry had escaped from the same attack with nothing more than a scar on his forehead, where Voldemort's curse, instead of killing him, had been rebound upon its originator. Barely alive, Voldemort had fled. But Harry had come to face with him at Hogwarts, remembering the last meeting as he stood at the dark window. Harry had to admit he was very lucky even to have reached his 13th birthday. He scanned the starry sky for the sign of Hedwig, perhaps soaring back to him, with a dead mouse dangling from her beak, expecting praise, gazing absently over the rooftops. It was a few seconds before Harry realized that he was seeing what he was seeing. Silhouette against the golden moon was growing larger every moment. It was a large, strangely lopsided creature, and it was flapping in Harry's direction. He stood quite still, watching it sink lower and lower. For a split second he hesitated, his hand on the window latch, wondering whether to slam it shut. But then the bizarre creature soared over one of the street lamps of Privet Drive. Harry, realizing what it was, leapt aside. Through the window soared three owls, two of them holding up the third, which appeared to be unconscious. They landed with a soft flump on Harry's bed, and the middle owl, which was large and gray, kneeled right over and lay motionless. There was a large package tied to its legs. Harry recognized the unconscious owl at once. His name was Errol, and he belonged to the Weasley family. Harry dashed to the bed, untied the cords around Errol's legs, took off the parcel, and then carried Errol to Hedwig's cage. Errol opened up one blurry eye and gave a feeble hoot of thanks, and began to gulp some water. Harry turned back to the remaining owls. One of them, the large snowy female, was his own, Hedwig. She too was carrying a parcel, and looked extremely pleased with herself. She gave Harry an affectionate nip with her beak, and she removed her burden, and then flew across the room to join Errol. Harry didn't realize the third owl, a handsome, tawny gray one, but he knew he knew at once where it had come from. Because in addition to the third package, it was carrying a letter bearing the Hogwarts crest. Okay. That's not even the first chapter yet. Reading out loud, I kind of don't get the book as much as I would get it reading it in my head. So I'm actually going to stop there in the middle of that chapter. And we're going to fix up this live stream. We're going to fix it up because this isn't right, guys. We shouldn't be reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Like, what? No. Get back to Hogwarts. Gotta get back to school. Okay. So let's set up this live stream for some good live streaming. So that was kind of very different. Like, that makes total sense. I'm trying to find the oh geez. I can't find it. Oh, found it, I think. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I do have. Oh my gosh. It's just no. Okay, so okay, I have to do it with 2 fingers. So I have this stuff for my live. What? I didn't do anything. Jesus Louises. And we're gonna set that up. Oh geez, that's a lot. None of that goes there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're setting up the live for some regular, like, Animal Jam, stuff like that. just set it up slowly but surely. I'm so sorry that you guys have to listen to me do this. Kitty Crazy World. I feel like she changed her user. I think she's Tabby Cat or Tabby, yeah. Anyway, so we have some shout outs. Then we gotta do the my main channel, which we have to go and find now. So I hope you guys do enjoy the rest of this live stream. The awesome part of it. Oh cool. So one of my spike on Animal Jam. That's awesome. Gotta Hogwarts. Gotta get back to school. So far, the car fam is. So far, the car fam 70 subs. So that is awesome, guys. Thank you so much for the subscribers. For all the subscribers. Thank you. That means a lot to me, guys. I hope you know that. It means a lot. Gotta get back to Hogwarts. Gotta get. And my channel is changing a lot. What's expired? Oh, come on, guys. What? Today through today. Edit the today part. I want to change the time. Add end time. It never ends, guys. It never ends. Invalid request. Authorization expired. I just want to... Oh my gosh, guys. What the heck is happening? Okay, I don't know what's happening. But I guess I'll see you in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to stay quiet, Jam. Bye.